When I opened my laptop to get all the birthday love from my Facebook friends, I noticed that my account wasn't the one on the screen. It was Amy's. What I saw made me absolutely sick to my stomach.
So, I've been watching this red pill stuff for probably about 6 months now, and I don't know, just in my life and my world experiences, I've just wondered about where some of these guys came from and how they got into this red pill space. I'm not saying anything negative about them or anything. I think it is a space that should be here, just kind of let guys know how women think, and what guys think women think, because if you're a guy, you should know that you really can never know what a woman's thinking because they don't even know. But anyway, so this gentleman, Donovan Sharpe, he can be controversial, but he actually had a little skit that came out and it was interesting. So I just want to get your opinion on it.
Back in the fall of 2008, I enrolled in paralegal school at a small community college in North Carolina. After I took my seat, I caught the eye of a pretty girl who walked in and took her seat right in front of me. She had dirty blonde hair and blue eyes. She was wearing these super tight jeans and a shirt she had obviously cut to make sure everyone saw her navel piercing. This girl was what I would describe as nasty hot. Pretty enough to catch your eye, but dresses in such a way that says she gets around.
So what do you think about this so far?
I already see where this is going.
Here's the thing. So remember I told you a while back that I had my truffles with spicy women when I was younger, and so listen, just me, I can already see the train wreck that's starting out here, and so I would not be involved with any type of woman like this nowadays. And when I say, because here's the thing, I said before, men need to pick better women because your outcomes has to do with the women that you pick. But we'll see what's going to happen after this.
Now, I was only 31 at the time and didn't have much experience with women. I had only been divorced for over a year, and because I didn't get raked over the coals, I was still as naive about women as I ever was. So I had no idea at the time that she was the type of girl I should have steered clear of. Her name was Amy, and she was the most beautiful disaster I had ever laid my eyes on.
They make songs about that. Beautiful disasters.
Yeah, and listen, not to laugh at the situation.
He's not completely naive because he knows.
Well, he knows now
that she's a hot mess.
Yeah, but he knows now, but he said that he wasn't naive about women at the time. Now, here's the thing.
He said when he first saw her, she was the most beautiful woman he's ever laid eyes on, but she clearly had cut her shirt to make sure everybody could see her navel piercing?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And, yeah, she had tight jeans on. And
so her deep southern twang and her friendly legs were more than enough to draw me in. Well, it appeared that the feeling was mutual, because we started flirting with each other right away and did so on a regular basis. In my mind, it was only a matter of time before we hooked up. At the end of the week, our instructor gave us a pop quiz on the week's lessons, and the test was old school SAT style. You know, the ones where you have to fill in the bubbles. Well, I didn't have a pencil, so I tapped Blondie's shoulder and said, "Hey, you got a pencil I can borrow?" She said,
"Sure. Make sure you give it back."
"I can't make any promises," I replied flirtatiously. She said,
"Well, if you do, I'll hold you to it."
Equally flirtatiously.
She's a pro. When I say a pro, she is a pro flirter. If you run into women that are like this, that are very good at flirting, you're not the first one, you're not the only one, and you won't be the last one.
That's not true. Just about flirting. Some people just have a good personality and it's easy for them to just talk to anybody, and some people could see that as flirting, but it not necessarily is always flirting.
I can say that, but I would say for most women, giving banter back and forth to men are going to look at it as flirting. And I would say that a woman that's comfortable giving banter back to a man in maybe she might not look at it as a flirtatious way, but is a very friendly and very fluid way, has had experience in talking to men quite a bit.
I guess it gets to a certain level, and that's when somebody just having a conversation would start to feel awkward and walk away, where the person that was flirting would just keep it going.
Yeah, meaning the woman.
Yeah.
Was absolutely smitten by this girl. For the first time in my life, it appeared that a girl liked me as much as I liked her. Not only that, she was easily the prettiest girl that had ever taken interest in me. I almost couldn't believe my luck.
And that's two bad scenarios. Easily the prettiest girl that's ever taken interest in me, and I can't believe my luck. Do you think that he's going to turn her down in any way?
No.
Looking back, I realized that she was probably around a 7, but my inexperience at the time probably had her rated at about a 9. So I aced the quiz, and when Amy asked for her pencil back, I said nobody uses this but me. Got it?
Got it.
She says. I remember getting an adrenaline rush when she said this to me because she looked me right in the eye when she said it. And this wasn't just the type of look that said she was just acknowledging me. She looked at me like she liked me.
Another professional move by a professional, flirtatious woman. I've seen this so much. Like I've seen this in some of my boys when they've gotten themselves in trouble. And as men and as boys, a lot of times you can see this coming, especially if you're out with your guys and you see your boy meet a girl and you see how she's doing that, and we're all over there it's like, oh and you're trying to save him, but you don't want to be blocking either. It's almost like she's picked one off the block. It's like, oh, we got a straggler over here.
I was thinking more of like a spider with a web.
Yeah, that too. That too. But anyway, let's progress on.
But, so she says,
From now on, we are going to call this the magic pencil, and I won't let anyone use it except for you.
so I said, good girl. Then she blushed, smiled, then whipped her head around. I honestly felt like I was back in high school. I hadn't felt this way since I was a teenager. It's hard to describe, but it was intoxicating. Well, as predicted, Amy and I dove headfirst into a serious relationship. Things moved very quickly, but neither one of us seemed to think it was fast enough. Hell, we told each other I love you less than a week later.
How can you love somebody that you don't really know?
I don't know.
I mean, I can't even love things that I just got. Like, if I just got something new, I can't even love that quick because I don't know what problems that thing's going to... Look, let's just say if I got a brand new phone or just a brand new something. I don't know after 2 weeks if this thing's going to be giving me problems where I'm going to want to throw it across the room. So I don't love anything that quick. But, like I said, I think that women don't understand a lot of times how quickly guys can fall in love. And I think every guy has been in this situation. I know I've been in this situation where I've had my heart broken at an early age. And these type of things for many men start to dictate how they act over a long stretch of their life here to come. And so a lot of men will think that they need to play this game once they get hurt, and sometimes they'll just shut down. They'll stop being so open as far as emotional. I remember the first, puppy love, I think it was in middle school, that I had. And I thought I was going to get married to this girl. I had already planned out in my head this family we were going to have and things like that.
Wait, did you say middle school?
Middle school,
Oh,
yeah.
goodness.
I'm a planner. And so, I mean, and a couple weeks later, I got this. She didn't even call me. She had one of her friends call me, and this is when we didn't have cell phones, so I had to answer the phone at my parents' house. It's like, so and so said she don't want to be with you anymore. I was like, okay. I hung up the phone, and it felt like somebody had just punched me in the chest. And so, after that, I was like, you know what? Don't want to be there anymore. And then, lo and behold, at some point in time in high school, found myself in that same situation again. Anyway, I don't see why that's so funny, but we're
Sorry.
We spent every waking moment together. And I mean that in the most literal sense. We were together all day and every single night. We would study during the evening, cook together, watch movies, we'd fall asleep on the couch together, and when we were in bed, we'd hold hands until we fell asleep. I mean, we did all that sappy stuff people do when they are stupidly in love. We even bought matching charms to wear around our necks. Mine was the letter A for Amy, and hers was the letter D for Donovan. I mean, we were inseparable. Amy also took great care of me. She would have my coffee waiting for me if I was running late to class. She would take notes for me if I had a migraine and wasn't feeling so hot. I mean, she moved heaven and earth to make sure I was okay. I remember this one time. I had mentioned to her offhandedly that I had forgotten to bring my lunch. I didn't really think anything of it because I figured I'd just eat a late lunch after school. Well, halfway through my legal research class, I get a text from Amy to come downstairs. And when I got there, she had a Whopper and Coke waiting for me and would not let me go back to class until I ate. I mean, I was absolutely enchanted by this girl. I had never dated a girl this pretty, who treated me this well, who loved me this much. I was head over heels for her.
This is just coming from my experience. I don't care if you find the hardest guy out there. Pretty much 99.9% of men have had their heart broken, especially at a young age, by some female. And I feel like, from what I've seen, is that it's almost like she's buttering up. It's like she's punching him, softening him up. You ever got a piece of meat and you need to tenderize it?
Yeah.
And what do you do to tenderize meat?
You hit it with a tenderizer.
But you kind of like,
mallet.
yeah, you kind of soften it up. You know what I'm saying? And once you soften it up, is it easier to do whatever you want to with it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I feel like that's what she's doing to him.
I don't know.
I don't know.
She must need something or want something.
So near the end of the spring semester, Amy and I took a trip to the beach for her 20th birthday, and it was one of the most memorable weekends of my life. It was the weekend that we started entertaining thoughts of marriage and children. We were going to have 2 boys and 2 girls, and they all had names. We were going to live in San Diego, California, buy a house on the beach, and live out our days raising our children and being in love. My birthday was just a few months later, and when I opened my laptop to get all the birthday love from my Facebook friends, I noticed that my account wasn't the one on the screen. It was Amy's. And like every red-blooded male, I decided to do some snooping around, and what I saw made me absolutely sick to my stomach. It made me wish I'd never looked.
It's happened to me before about finding, in high school, finding a letter from some other guy to a girl I was dating in her book bag. And
Wait, were you looking through her book bag?
actually, I needed a pen, but there was a note there. Everybody knows what a note, when somebody writes you, when it gets folded up and then you stick it somewhere.
Yeah.
I really actually needed a pen, but
was it your note?
it wasn't my note. But
So why did you read it?
because it was sitting right there, and anything was hers was mine, and vice versa. And so,
Well, seems like you learned your lesson on that one.
so look, women cheat just as much as men cheat. Well, I don't know if I'd say just as much as men cheat, but women cheat too, and men cheat also. And the thing that you always have to think, and you always have to wonder, is if all these men are cheating, who are they cheating with? Because every man can't be cheating with the same woman. And so
Not all men are cheating with women.
you got a lot of single men out here, and single men are just, look, they're taking a stab at whatever, it doesn't matter if she's taking or not. And so I think every man has been there. And I don't know, in watching this video, like I said, I like to see where some of these people come from. And the Donovan guy, he seems like a nice guy. I don't agree with all his viewpoints, but at the same time, I can see where some of his viewpoints come from. There's a lot of people that have been scarred, a lot of men that have been scarred in relationships, a lot of men that have been cheated on, and that follows you for a while. And you put up your guard to the point where you don't want that to happen to you again. And some of the people in the red pill space, I do kind of feel like that's some of the things that has happened to them over time. And I don't fault them for that at all, because look, I've been through that time in my life and had that time in my life. I ultimately feel that you still have to allow yourself to be open, to be vulnerable. And being vulnerable is not a good place for anyone to be. It's not a good place for a man to be, and it's not a good place for a female to be. Females don't like to be vulnerable because they don't like to be put in a spot where they can possibly be cheated on or possibly be taken advantage of. And then vice versa for males. It is a very big ego hit for a male for them to have someone that they're head over heels for, to find out that they've actually been cheated on. Unfortunately, it's a part of life. It's a part of a lot of young men growing up. They call it puppy love. And I don't think it's ever spoken of as much as, it's spoken of women. I don't know, I'm pretty sure women get their heart broken coming up, quite a few times. But for men, it's one of those things that we don't speak about. I think if some of these men had not had their heart broken, some men would be a whole lot nicer to women. The first time that you're head over heels with someone, you think that's gonna last forever. You think that is your wife, that is you're playing a life for them. And this is what guys are doing. This is what guys are doing in their head. This is what I did in my head. I remember the girl, I found the note in her bag. I had planned on having a life with her, and then she went out and got this tattoo, and I was like, okay, like that's not part of my plan. Like I was planning on us running businesses, and then you got this big tattoo. It's like we're in high school. I'm like
such a control freak.
I'm like, what am I gonna do with you now? How am I gonna hide this tattoo? Like our customers are going. The ultimate thing was like I was planning a life with this female.
But did she know that?
Yes, she knew that.
Okay.
But come to find out is that some of her friends, and then there was also even a single female teacher's like, you don't need to be doing that. You don't need to be so. The other point, single females keep other single females single. That's just my opinion and Kevin Samuel's opinion.
Misery loves company.
That is true. That did break my heart because, like I said, I thought that she was the one. Now, there were a lot of red flags that I obviously missed along the way. But that did jade me for years to come with relationships with women after that. Women will put you in a weird predicament, especially if you meet the wrong woman. If you meet the wrong woman can really, really mess up a man's life. And vice versa, the wrong man can mess up a woman's life also. But I don't think that society looks at men being with the wrong women and how detrimental they can be to the man's life. A good woman can help a man and push a man forward to heights that he never knew that he could reach. But the wrong woman can drag him lower than hell. That's why a lot of men act the way that they do, especially towards women. Women say sometimes men are very callous, and some men have become callous because they've had their heart broken, not once, not twice. Sometimes some men have had their hearts broken many times. And I mean, hey, I don't blame them, but you can't hold what someone did to you and move that to a relationship to someone that hasn't done that to you.
Right. It's not fair.
Yeah.